Hello everyone. This video is going to be about the various ways to earn my respect and admiration, as well as ways you can lose my admiration. I'm going to break this subject down into 5 good things and 5 bad things I look for when finding a new source of information, and also use to keep someone a source of information. I don't necessarily admire people for just displaying these traits specifically, so much as I do for their being held over time. These talking points are of course far from being the only things I look for in a speaker. They just felt the most prominent without being too on the nose. Let me know some of the things you look for in a speaker and if you think they should have been on this list. To start off, when I say make me admire you, I am by no means demanding that the speaker adhere to these points. This is pure opinion, and this is what helps me separate quality presenters from average ones. And with that, here are my 5 good traits. Number 1. Welcome all opinions. I've come to the recent realization that the best way to know your own opinion is to know everything else against it, or at least really try to. Letting people bash your ideas makes it that much more prominent as the final solution and will only further validate its premise, should it stand up to scrutiny. Welcoming other opinions will also enable people to contribute to the idea, thereby helping it grow. And to conclude this point, I will summarize with a paraphrase from Proverbs 12:15. The fool seeks no other opinion. Number 2. A moral compass pointed to truth. Building off the first concept, if all involved parties are agreed to reach the same conclusion, then progress is sure to be had. The biggest problem with debate today is that no one trusts their opponent enough to even agree on an end goal. In my opinion, I believe 2 parties should first explicitly agree on a mutual goal, set limitations in the way to achieve that goal, and then work from there as partners rather than combatants. Number 3. Being funny. Milo Yiannopoulos once said that no one can resist the truth wrapped up in a good joke, and I couldn't agree more. Comedy has always been my preferred method of diffusion until recent times where it seems to be under assault from all angles. Mark Twain once said, "Against the assault of laughter, nothing can stand." And to the people trying to ward off laughter, I often wonder what they are trying to protect if a simple laugh threatens them. Comedy can also be more than an icebreaker or a quick revelation. It can also be a bond reinforcer between 2 longtime friends as a way to express trust and familiarity. I personally don't know anyone who has a longtime friend that they don't constantly laugh with. And if a speaker can make me laugh, that's a great way to make the whole setting feel a lot more friendly than hostile. And the speaker can really emanate a sense of kinship in the pursuit of truth that way. Number 4. Being respectful. To quickly sum up this point, I'm going to allude to 2 of my favorite quotes as of late. Number 1. Assume that the person you are speaking with knows something you don't. Number 2. Never attribute to malice what can be assigned to stupid. These quotes do a stunning job at summarizing a strong foundational position to have. You can make a strong argument that listening to someone without assuming their intentions will keep you in a grounded position without overstepping or giving the opponent a chance to riposte with victimhood as a response to what could possibly be received as over-aggressive. A good debate shouldn't have to come down to surgically chosen words, but in order to be prepared to debate anyone, this skill is invaluable. Number 5. Know your why. Nietzsche said if you know the why, you can live anyhow, and that's something I wish more people today would exemplify. Simply knowing something isn't enough. Memorization turns you into a parrot and can make you over-emotional. If your argument is heavily anchored in emotion, you can be manipulated quite easily and set up in traps. Beyond knowing your why, be careful with your words. And I don't mean in a politically correct way. I mean in a way where you assert every word out of your mouth and can assure the point you make. Failing to do this runs the risk of someone strawmanning your argument. Taking time to be tactful and precise will allow you to concisely make your point without giving your opponent anything to address but the argument itself. And that is something you will see in the best speakers. Having gone through the 5 good traits to have to earn my admiration, here are the 5 ways to lose my admiration. Number 1. Having emotional responses. To be clear in this, I mean that emotion shouldn't overcome the speaker. What I don't mean is that the speaker's point should be void of all spirit. I fully believe that a convincing speaker has an excellent message married to an emotional reading. The best example I can think about to reference this is Tucker Carlson. Tucker is practically famous for taking people wherever he wants in a conversation, and that's surely a way to get laughed at rather than heard. To keep my attention, keep emotion where it needs to be. Number 2. Strawmanning. There is a large difference between repeating your opponent's point to confirm you understand what they are saying and framing what they say in a way to put them down. If I see a speaker do this kind of malicious, offensive tactic while claiming objectivity, they lose my support instantly. The truth needs to be blunt, and if that's what you're after, then you don't need to worry about making your opponent look bad. Number 3. Inability to concede. If a speaker cannot admit to being wrong, then they cannot grow. This is something Dr. Peterson talks about all the time in his lectures. Stubbornness is the best way to resist solution, and quite frankly, I don't see how a speaker could display that to the contrary. Number 4. Name calling. Other than being the tactic of someone who has no tactic, name-calling makes the speaker look weak and fully unable to challenge the issues at hand. Beyond that, absolutely anyone can start name-calling, but there's nothing constructive to it, nor is there anything redeeming about it. This should be avoided if at all possible. For me, this is almost as bad as strawmanning. Putting those two together and you don't have a debate. You have a mud fight. Number 5. Unwillingness to debate. There are so few good reasons not to have a debate. If a speaker has an idea that cannot withstand scrutiny, then that idea is not worth having. Personally, I would rather be corrected 1,000 times than believe 1,000 lies. And every speaker should feel this as well. If I feel a speaker is not confident enough in their own abilities to defend them in public debate, then quite frankly, I don't see them as someone I should look up to for information. With all that being said, I am more than willing to give anyone my time to hear what they have to say. But if they lack the traits in the former part of this video and excel in the latter, the first few things I hear from them will have to be the last. Anyways, thanks for stopping by, guys, and I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have any suggestions regarding this topic. I would love to know what you guys think. See ya.